Hey guys, my name is Kathy, and welcome to First Time Mom Mistakes, where I talk about all the first time mom stuff that we go through. No fancy makeup, no fancy backgrounds or effects, just keeping it real with you every day for 10 minutes. So, today I want to talk about labor. Labor is a very huge topic, but let's just say that my entire image of labor was very, very influenced by movies, to the point where me and my husband actually drove by the hospital thinking that we were going to be, rushing in. One of those scenes where the woman just, her water breaks and it's just a fountain of water. And like, oh my God, let's get her to the hospital. And they're rushing, she's almost giving birth in the car. And, we were thinking it was going to be like that. So we went to the hospital, just trying to plan it out. Like, how is he going to rush me into the hospital? Can he park right in front of the doorway? That sort of stuff. Of course, that is not the reality of labor, as I learned later in a class, and of course, going through actual labor. It's a very long process when you're a first time mom, and that was kind of the first thing I learned. Now, you could even get turned away from the hospital if your contractions are not close enough. So, for those that do go into labor, and their water doesn't break, you have to time your contractions and wait for that moment when you can go. If your water breaks, they'll actually take you in. So the funny thing about water breaking, again, you'll think that oh, it's just going to be this gush of water, and that's really not the case. So what happened with me was I just had this trickle, and it was so slight that I thought it could just be regular discharge that you get towards the end of your pregnancy. But that morning, I already, was having some false contractions throughout the night, and then that morning, just kind of kept, you know, happening, and I thought, well, better call, because I learned, in one of the classes. But it really was just such a slight trickle. I could have really missed it. So we went to the hospital, and of course, they said, yes, your water broke. So that's one thing to really watch out for, is your water breaking is not a gush of water coming out of you. The actual process of labor, I thought, I was going to do it with no epidural. Um, it's possible, but let's just say no videos, no talks, nothing can prepare you for it ever. It's really you against you. It's sort of like, can you conquer yourself? In my case, I had back labor, meaning that my baby was facing the wrong way. So it was a very, very painful process, and there were other things going on. So basically, I just ended up getting an epidural. Um, so just I'm saying this only to say that, hey, keep your mind open, because I really was gung-ho about going natural, and I felt bad getting the epidural. I felt like I had given up, you know. I had some guilt over that, but I think, honestly, looking back, it was the best choice, because when it came to pushing, and I pushed for 3 hours at the end, um, I don't think I would have had that strength if it wasn't for the epidural. Also, I actually ended up kind of screwing my epidural up a little bit towards the end. I was moving around a little bit, and so I felt quite a bit during the actual last stage of the labor, which you're not supposed to. You really are not that free moving about with your legs and all that stuff. So, of course, up to you, but definitely I am pro natural, but having gone through the experience, just know nothing's gonna prepare you for it. Um, the other stuff about labor to keep in mind is whoever you take with you, they better be an actual support person, meaning they're there to emotionally support you and they can get through the entire event. It's very physically draining, on them as well, because they can't sleep. They're, they're trying to be there for you. They're not eating most of the time, again, if you get an epidural, and you're just chilling out, that's a different story. But beforehand I was thinking, well, who would I take with me? And people like your mother-in-law, or friends that you're maybe not that particularly close with, are probably not the best bet, unless again you have that very strong bond with them. Because my husband was there with me, and I don't think I could have handled anybody else being there, to tell you the truth. None of my family members, like, I would not have wanted to see them there, because you're just going through so much pain, and you don't want somebody there who is a worry buddy, who's like, oh my god, freaking out instead of instead of supporting you. So that's another thing to keep in mind about labor. And then, of course, there's the whole thing of dilation. So the story with dilation that I went through is that they basically, the reason why I ended up getting an epidural is they told me I wasn't dilating. And my um, my entire contraction process was so intense. You're supposed to have a contraction and have a break, have a contraction, have a break. And I got to the point where I was having no breaks, which is something you're supposed to experience at the end, not in the beginning. And it was just my body trying to figure out why it was that I wasn't dilating. But long story short, once they actually, did the epidural and decided, hey, we're gonna help you dilate, and it turned out like I popped open and I was 5 inches, or 5 centimeters dilated. So just, sometimes it might seem like you're not dilating, but your body is actually going through the process and doing its job. So just don't freak out. I freaked out. That's why I got the epidural, because I was like, if I'm not even dilating, I can't do this for hours and hours. So that's one thing that could have really helped me get through it naturally. And then, if you're gonna get the epidural, then you're gonna get sleep. And you can watch some stupid movies or something like that. But it does slow the labor down a lot of times. It did in my case. So then you end up having to do a lot more intervention in terms of like other medicine to try to keep the labor going, etc., etc. So it just gets a lot more complicated. So those are probably my main points about labor. Just really fast, we were living about an hour away from any hospital at the time of my labor. So I actually had packed, in addition to my hospital bag, I packed a second bag with some clean towels, because I looked up online that, if you get stuck somewhere, and you end up actually going through your labor and giving birth in a car, which I saw a news video of coverage of that happening. You need a lot of clean towels, and then you also need whoever's going to be with you to be prepared to receive the baby. So you might want to get them to watch or read something about that, how to actually receive a baby in an emergency. But that's really only if you live very far away from a hospital. So just another tip there. And that's probably my main stuff about labor. It's I don't know, there's like nothing I can say. You have to go through it. I hope you I can't say have fun, but I hope you get the experience, a once in a lifetime experience that it is, and make the best of it. And good luck to you, if you are preparing to go into labor. All right, well, that's it for today. And I hope you tune in again tomorrow. Thanks, guys.